headed to our next destination of Prague.
We're Karin and Jeremy, an average couple with average jobs and limited vacation time. When we take trips, we have 1 or 2 weeks, 3 if we're lucky, and we want to see and do as much as possible when we travel. Join us as we maximize our vacation time on Mapping It.
It looks like Prague just got a ton of snow, so we're slipping and sliding on the cobblestone.
Yeah.
And we either need to take a metro to our Airbnb or we need to walk. Either way, it seems like it's going to be chaos.
Yeah, for sure. Either a lot of people or a lot of snowy sidewalks. Welcome to our Airbnb in Prague. Got a bedroom right here, right off the entrance. Got about a queen-size bed, it looks like. It's even got its own patio. A little dark right now, so we'll have to check that out another time. Little hallway to a bathroom with a shower. And then a second bedroom. Back down the hallway to the other side. A lot of bags. Got a bathroom with just a toilet and a sink. And the main living space. Got a dining room table right here. Got a couch with a Greta. And a pretty sizable kitchen over here.
So the Greta comes with the apartment.
Yeah, yes. And some slanty windows, which, again, it's dark, we can't see.
Just snowed in Prague.
Looks pretty nice.
We are in Prague, and tonight we're going to the National Theater to see the opera.
The Bartered Bride.
Yeah.
Behind us is the National Theater, and it's snowing, and it's really pretty out, but it's very cold. So let's get in and warm up and find our seats for the opera.
We booked our tickets for the opera months in advance, and they were already starting to sell out for performances around the holidays. We chose box seats and had a great experience. If you plan to do the same, we only recommend buying tickets in a box if you have a front row seat. The views from the second row of the box are pretty obstructed. Well, we found our seats. We have a box on the first balcony, and it's pretty nice. I think it seats 4, so we might have someone join us.
May have a random person.
Yeah, we'll see. The first row is a row of 3, and it has the best views. Also, these tickets were only $56, so super affordable. And the architecture in here is so beautiful. I'd say this opera house is definitely better than the architecture of the Vienna Opera. We dressed up for the occasion, and we're glad we did because everyone else also dressed up for the event. And if you book box seats, no need to check your coat. There are coat hooks inside the box for you.
Well, just like in Vienna, we reserved a table for intermission for drinks and food. Unlike Vienna, though, there are 2 intermissions this time, and you can reserve for both. We only did it for 1, though. So.
Have you noticed anything about the boxes?
We got this nice padding here.
Oh yeah? What do you do with it? Lean over and check out the view, huh?
The first Mission Impossible movie was filmed in Prague, and especially part of it was on this bridge. Oh, Ethan, I'm shot.
While we're back from the opera, that was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, it was really good.
It's a Czech opera. It's also a modern twist on the opera. That was really cool.
Yeah.
They had like acrobatics and trampolines in
Yeah.
there. It was a really interesting interpretation. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Not having any experience with operas and things like that, I thought this was a fun way to wrap up our time today.
Yeah, it was a long day with the travel and everything.
It was really long.
Well, good morning from Prague. This is going to be our first full day in Prague. It's very exciting. We got up bright and early at the crack of sunrise. 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
8 a.m. That's when sunrise was. We are going to find a bakery to get some breakfast, and then we are going to head to Prague Castle as our first stop of the day.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's go. This is so cool. We just made it to the old town square, and behind me is a beautiful church.
Karen, look at all the birds.
You don't like birds?
Oh. Just move.
No. I got a kolač for breakfast. Not quite sure the flavor, but it looked really good. I think it's like a vanilla sort of flavor. I like it. Definitely come and get a kolač. Behind me is Prague's Old Town Hall, and it has the Astronomical Clock on it, which you can see. And the original part is the top dial. It tells the time in Roman numerals on the outside in 24-hour increments. So the dial just goes once around for the day, not twice around like a regular standard clock that you have on your wall. It tells the time. It tells you what zodiac sign it is for the month. It tells you what sun sign it is for the day. It tells you what saint day it is. It tells you how much daylight there is. It does a lot of things. And on top of the hour, you'll see a little glockenspiel show happen where the apostles pass by, and the little skeleton up there is death, and it rings its bell, reminding everyone that your time is fleeting.
I think we're heading towards the Charles Bridge and the Prague Castle now.
The snow is super pretty. It really feels like Christmas time. I just love it.
Oh, that was a dip.
No, I know, but it just really makes it like really atmospheric and magical. I don't know. Winter in Europe, you just expect snow, and we didn't have a whole lot of snow in Vienna, and I don't think we really had any in Budapest either.
Yeah.
So this just feels really nice.
I got a snowflake in my eye. That's also nice.
Yeah, it just feels really nice, and I love it, but it does make it hard to walk. It's very slippery up. We're walking on the Charles Bridge, and it's not too busy. We're kind of early. It's like, what, 9:30?
9:30. Yeah,
around 9:30, but it's winter, so like I imagine this is probably packed by 9:30 in the summer. Snowing, magical. Facts about the Charles Bridge. It was built in 1342 by King Charles IV, and he ruled Prague during Prague's golden age. He created this bridge across the river, the Vltava River, and for a very long time, it was the only bridge across the river, like for centuries. And he also created Prague's university, and he even started the Prague Castle, which is behind me. The Prague Bridge is about 7 football fields long, so that's pretty long. Getting a nice view of all the architecture. It's so pretty. We've come to the spot on the Charles Bridge that marks where St. John of Nepomuk, the patron saint of Czech people, was supposedly tossed off the bridge for his apparent crimes. But when he fell into the water, a ring of 5 stars appeared around his head, proving that he was innocent, and then he's sainted. And if you touch him, touch the stars, it is believed that a wish of yours will come true. There.
Jeremy, what? You didn't make a wish.
I touched it.
Did you make a wish?
Yeah. The John Lennon Wall first appeared in 1980 after John Lennon's murder. And since then, it's been a place for people to put up signs of peace and protest.
Are you happy now? What did we do?
We got Starbucks and sat in warmth for a little while.
Well, we said we were going to Prague Castle, but it seems like we've made a lot of other stops before that.
Change of plans. Things are taking a lot longer. I think we are very exhausted. It's near the end of our trip, and there's already a lot of tourists, so there's not really a point in trying to get there early because it's no longer early. Instead of going to Prague Castle first thing, we are now going to Strahov Library at the Strahov Monastery, and we're going to look at a pretty library from far away because you're not actually allowed to enter the library unless you have a tour. And I tried to contact them like a month ago and they never responded. So, guess we're just looking at it from a distance.
The Strahov Library is one of the oldest and best preserved libraries in the world. It's got two libraries, one dedicated to philosophy and the other to theology.
Behind me is the Theological Hall. It's magnificent. The library was built in the 1670s, and in this room it houses some really impressive old globes. And if you look at the back wall there's like a box in the wall where they would keep forbidden texts. There's also some interesting displays in the hallway, like some old rocks, which I like rocks, so I find it exciting. But there's also a static electricity machine that's from the 1800s? It's from the late 1700s.
I'm pretty happy. I like books. I'd make a detour to see that any day. The monastery library is open from 9 to noon or 1 to 5. So if you come at that sweet spot from noon to 1, you're out of luck because it's closed. We finally made it to Prague Castle, and this place is pretty cool. That's the cathedral behind me, and it is gorgeous. And Greta's running to keep warm. This church is pretty incredible. It started being built in the 1300s and it was completed in the 1900s for the 1000th anniversary of St. Wenceslas's death.
Great.
So it took a very long time to build. In between when it started and when it finished, there were wars, plagues, all the terrible things.
All the bad things.
All the bad things that would maybe prevent you from finishing something like this. But this is, I think, pretty incredible. Yeah. The part of the church that's behind me was completed in the 1920s, which is why a lot of the stained glass has a very modern flair to it, and it is stunning.
This stained glass window behind me was designed by Alphonse Mucha in 1931. It's famous for its Art Nouveau style.
A fun fact about the church is that the architect who designed this church is the same one that designed the Charles Bridge, Peter Parler. I almost said Peter Parker, so not to be confused. Why do we visit so many churches on our trips? It's because we like to see the art in situ. So like, you get to see the artwork in the location that it was designed for. So that's pretty cool. And there's a lot of cool art, especially the stained glass windows in this church. Behind me is the tomb of King Wenceslas.
Greta's happy about it.
Go ahead.
good king Wenceslas looked down on the sea.
In the chapel behind me is where they used to crown the Czech kings, and it's also where they store the crown jewels. We're in the old royal palace, and this is Vladislav Hall. It's 200 feet long, and it's big enough to hold a joust in here. And there's a staircase on the other end that was even designed to allow a mounted soldier to enter through.
In 1618, angry Czech nobles threw 2 governors out these windows. They did not die, but they did get some broken limbs and some bruised egos.
On the wall behind me are portraits of Habsburg rulers, including Maria Theresa and Joseph II, and he happens to be dressed up as George Washington, of all things. Isn't that funny?
Is it good?
That's really good.
Was it worth it?
Nice grill flavor. It looks like it's kind of got some paprika maybe seasoning. Got some pepper, yellow pepper, red onion, and looks like maybe some yellow onion as well. Unless is that ham? Or like bacon or something? Now we're in the Golden Lane, which is another part of the Prague Castle circuit ticket. And it includes houses of soldiers and craftsmen, including the author Kafka. They must have been very short because these houses are tiny.
Yeah, you have to watch your head.
The doorways are very short. These days it has a bunch of little shops you can hop into and spend all the money. Well,
just happened?
we bought a lot more than we thought we were going in to buy, so
Oh yeah. More than a postcard?
we got sold.
We got a book that Kafka wrote in this house. He wrote a bunch of short stories, and he wrote 14 of them from this house. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
And we also got
A traditional Czech cookbook.
yeah, we got tucked into it. The pictures looked incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Golden Lane is fun. It's definitely a lot touristy. Very busy and crowded, and easy to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think we should go before we spend anything else.
How's it going?
We're slipping inside. Going slow.
It's just pure chaos. It's pure chaos. That is a very tall guy.
We just saw the gaslighter lighting the lights at the Charles Bridge. It's the only bridge in the world that's still lit by gaslight, and they only light them like this during Advent. So that was really cool to see.
And chaotic because of all the
Very
people.
chaotic. Well, we've come to Upivrinca for dinner, an early dinner, because we didn't really have lunch. And this place is really cool. There's cartoons on the walls, and it's actually designed by the artist who made this cartoon famous in Czechia. And I've got a Mirinda with me. I think it's some sort of orange pop. It's super good. And Jeremy and Greta both got beers. Well, our food came, and I got the svichkova, which is like beef tenderloin in a root vegetable sauce, and it comes with whipped cream and cranberries and bread dumplings. So I'm gonna dig in. Oh wow, that's super tender. Just try it plain first. That's really good. Try it with a little bit of everything. Whipped cream is an interesting choice, but the berries and whipped cream really add to this dish. That is delicious. Also, the bread dumplings are meant to be eaten by soaking up the sauce, like this. Oh, look at that gloriousness.
Okay, I got the roasted duck, which has got some gravy and some red cabbage, and some bread dumplings. I could die. It's like Thanksgiving with all the gravy, and the cabbage adds a little bit of kind of like, I don't know, sourness to it. It's so good.
Dinner was really tasty.
Yeah.
Everything we got was traditional Czech dishes, and I think we all loved everything we had.
Yeah, it seemed like more of a locals place than a touristy restaurant, so.
The staff there was super friendly, even though we were stupid tourists and didn't know how to use the credit card machine.
Yeah, wow.
They were super friendly, so if you get a chance, if you're in Prague, definitely stop by the restaurant. Then we came back here for a little rest because it's been a long day.
Yeah. And we could easily just stay here, I think, the rest of the night, but...
We really could, but we're forcing ourselves to get out because Prague has some Christmas markets right now, and we kind of want to check them out.
Yeah, and it's only about 7:30. So.
Yeah, it's not even late, and we've already been relaxing for like 2 hours.
Something like that.
That's what happens when you skip lunch and have an early dinner.
And when sunset is at 4 p.m.
Yeah, true. Everything feels later than it truly is.
Yeah.
So we're going to head out now and check out some Christmas markets. Probably the one at the Old Town Square, because that's like right around the corner from where we're staying.
Yeah, let's go do it.
Let's go. It's so pretty! And Greta's relying on me to take pictures. But it's so pretty! I don't okay, I had to put on cold wet shoes, but this was worth it.
Well, we got some mead.
Ooh!
It's almond flavored, honey wine.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Looks hot.
Yeah, it does. That's a very tiny cup you got there.
Well, it's strong probably. Well, so.
Glad you didn't get the big cup.
That's both hot and strong. So it hits you bam in both points.
Yeah.
For your sinuses.
Yeah. That's a strong drink. You don't want to drink too much of that.
Oh yeah?
We'll be sharing. We got roasted chestnuts.
Have you ever had a roasted chestnut?
No. We'll see how this goes. You gotta peel them.
How do you know you've got to peel it?
I'm not eating the shell. This is gonna be tedious. It's gonna take a while.
It's a good thing we got Greta here to hold the bag. Ooh, that's steamy. Wow.
It's steamy.
It looks like it'd be soft.
Is it soft? Oh man, look at that.
There you go.
That's chestnut. And
How
it's
hot
nut
is this gonna
form.
be?
Yeah, I say eat it.
It looks like a potato.
Yeah.
Feels like a potato.
I'm scared.
Is it hot? Warm?
No. Yeah, it's warm. It doesn't have a whole lot of flavor.
Do you like it?
Tastes like a nut. I don't know.
A warm nut?
Not like a peanut, just like kind of like a, I don't know, more like a walnut almost.
Do you like it? Would you buy it again?
I probably wouldn't buy it again,
Yeah.
but it's fine.
It's an experience.
It's traditional.
It is an experience, isn't it? And you're warming your hands.
Would you like to try?
I guess I should try. I don't know, this seems a little sus. Almost dropped it.
It just tastes like a mushy nut. What's wrong with a mushy nut? Little did we know Card's allergic to chestnuts.
I don't know, I don't really have words to describe it. It's very bland.
It's just very bland and mushy.
It's very bland and mushy, but also it's got like that texture. And so because it has not a whole lot of flavor, it's just more of a texture thing. It's not for me.
Not fam.
Well, it's been a long day.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty exhausted.
If there's one thing to say about Prague, it's chaotic.
Very much. It's like the Minnesota State Fair.
Yeah.
There's just so many tourists. It's definitely the most Americans that we've seen so far on this trip to Europe. It was a good way to end our night in Prague, and we have one more day in Prague before we fly back home.
Good morning, everyone. It's our last day in Prague. We forgot to mention that Czech Republic is Karin's 20th country. Woohoo! And today we're going to be starting out with a tour of the Jewish Quarter.
Let's go.
Right now we're in the Mazel Synagogue, which was built in the late 16th century after the Habsburg king reduced restrictions on Jews in Prague. Inside the synagogue, it has a lot of really good information about the Jewish community in Prague throughout the centuries.
During World War II, this synagogue was used to house Jewish artifacts and catalog them as ordered by the Nazis.
Well, it was a very interesting and informative visit at the Mazel Synagogue. Now we're going to head to the Pinkas Synagogue. The walls of the Pinkas Synagogue are inscribed with the names of over 77,000 Czech Jews who were deported and died at Nazi concentration camps during World War II. If you go up the stairs of the Pinkas Synagogue, there's a gallery of children's artwork that was made while they were at the Terezin Nazi camp. The artwork showed a lot of different types of scenes, like life at the camp, life from before when things were better, and images of hope for a better future. It was very powerful.
Right now, we're in the old Jewish cemetery in Prague, and there are about 80,000 people buried here. There's about 12,000 headstones, and for 80,000 people, that means that some of them are buried, as many as 8 deep. And that's because this is the only place where Jewish people were allowed to be buried in Prague. Much of Eastern Europe was destroyed during World War II, especially areas with a high Jewish population. The Nazis made a point to preserve the Jewish quarter of Prague because they intended to use it as a museum once they completed their plans of eliminating all Jews. There is a lot of information to be learned by visiting the area, and it can be a lot to take in. We believe it's important to learn about history so that the mistakes of the past won't be repeated in the future.
We're in the Old New Synagogue, which was built in 1270. It's the oldest synagogue in Eastern Europe.
We're wrapping up our time touring the Jewish quarter at the Spanish synagogue. And the architecture is really impressive.
Yeah.
So is the interior.
We thought this tour was well worth our time. We would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely. We learned a lot of history. And if nothing else, come for the architecture because it's really stunning. There's a lot of good information at all of the stops we went to. A lot of great plaques and informative signs. There's also a very informative audio guide too.
Yeah.
So we highly recommend if you come to Prague to stop by the Jewish Quarter. What'd you get?
Got some Prague ham and kielbasa.
Oh my gosh, it looks so good.
Wow, that looks good.
Looks good. Oh man.
Good?
The casing is just super like thin and crisp and like super tender meat on the inside. So flavorful. Probably paprika. It's really red, so I would imagine that. But that's maybe some of the best sausage I've ever had. So definitely recommend.
I've got some delicious Prague ham. It's been roasting on a spit over an open fire. It looks insane. It smells delicious, and it's pull apart tender. Look at this bite.
That looks good.
Yeah, it does. Oh my gosh. That is so good. Oh my gosh. So flavorful. Perfectly tender. It's got that char from like the fire, and it's crispy with like a little bit of burntness to it. Oh my gosh, it melts in your mouth. Super juicy, super tender. Oh, if you come to Prague for Christmas markets, get the ham. This is incredible. I got hot chocolate. It's super cold out. It's like the coldest day we've experienced on this trip. I don't know what the actual temperature is, but 20 degrees. It feels pretty cold. My feet are freezing. But I've got hot chocolate and it's warming my hands and it's making me happy. That's some good stuff.
Oh, you had fun getting a little lunch from the Christmas market?
Yeah, it was a little cold out, but the food was nice and hot. Our last stop was picking up gingerbread. We had it the other night, and it was so good that we had to come back for a little more. If you are in Prague, get the marzipan and the lotus flavors. Those are delicious. And now we're heading to the Mucha Museum to see artwork by Alfons Mucha.
Well, the Mucha Museum was really fun. It was cool to see the Art Nouveau style of art. And then after that, we went over to the post office to try to get some stamps for all of our postcards. It was kind of rough. The guy that was helping me did not speak much English. You gotta make sure when you're asking for stamps to say that they're for postcards. That usually helps a little bit. And then the destination they're going to, initially he thought I was asking for stamps to Europe, and I had to make sure I said for the USA. But it took probably about a good 5 minutes to get the whole process figured out. Stamps aren't super cheap, but we got 19 of them, so that was kind of a lot. And now we're walking through Wenceslas Square towards the old town hall. We're going to try to climb that before it gets dark. Oh, we stumbled upon a Christmas market, and we got some mini pancakes with salted caramel topping. Looks pretty good.
Wow.
A lot of caramel.
Look at that.
That was very good.
Very salty.
Mm-hmm. Very salted caramel. Very fresh pancakes. Nice and fluffy. Very pillowy. So good.
Let's make a present for us to show you and me is destiny. As we dance with the chills for free. Just to know.
We're climbing up the tower at Old Town Hall to see the view, and it's gotta be good. Look at that.
I'm all for Christmas, it's a magical time. Full of kisses, let's go outside and tickle a snowman.
Well, this was a great view of Prague.
Yeah.
Definitely come during sunset if you have the option. It gets very busy up here, so be prepared for a tight squeeze. We had a great time in Prague. This is the last thing we're really going to do.
That pretty much wraps up our trip. Tomorrow we head back home.
And then we'll see you in the next one.
Only want to be close to you. No one else here knows what you do. Let's start a fire, it's getting cold. Let's make a present for us to show. You and me is destiny.
Behind us is the National, what is it, theater? Have you found anything out about the biggest eye roll? Well, good morning. Behind me is Prague's Old Town Hall, and it has. And we're going to look at pretty. Greta's butt is cold. That is a fact. Straight from her mouth.
And?
We're walking on the We're walking on the Charles Bridge right now, and it's not too busy right now. Right now.
Now is the word of
Yeah,
the minute.
I guess. The minute.
Get moving.
Get moving?
Get moving.
That wasn't the plan.
This stained glass window behind me was designed by Alphonse Mucha.
Oh my gosh, you're very close.
It's fine.
Okay. In the chapel there, that's where they used to crown the kings of the land. The land.
Good one.
Okay. Greta's holding my hand. What are you doing? A McRoyale.
Royal double. Big tasty.